And we are live, Chatelet Brothers. So, this is something new I'm trying. I called it the Morning Red Pill. It's my generic title to get views to my dying and buried channel. But as always, to the guys that are here, I appreciate everything that you guys have done so far and all your input. So, basically, um, a few weeks ago, Mark and I moved, and where we live now, the internet is passable, but it is not great. So, whether you know or not, most of my videos are, I don't know, action videos, I would say. Um, you can physically see something, and they're recorded usually in 1080p or 4K, and even the talking videos. And I like to show my face, I like to show my surroundings, I like to upload and broadcast and show different locations and different things. I think it's cool. But the uploads tend to take a long time, even with fast internet. Sometimes videos can take me 10 hours to upload. These videos here, these live streams, are very easy. They're uploaded instantaneously. They don't take up a lot of data, especially if I turn my camera off. Hey, how's it going, Yorn? Yorn for sure in the house. So we had we had a couple of streams yesterday trying this out, but yeah, I've decided I'm going to do it every morning this week. And I know there's a vacuum for live streams, but nobody streams in the morning ever anyway. It might not be the best time. It's not prime time, but it's kind of my prime time. Shout out to Taryn Marine, cursed with the gift or the curse, I guess, of having to rise early. This guy gets up at 3 a.m. I don't always get up around there, but I get up whenever. And today I got up at 4, and then I did a quick workout and I walked my dog in my backyard through the woods, and it was pitch black. I made a little video. I'm going to upload it later. It's really cool. But I wanted to talk about walking away today. And I didn't just mean walking away from like leftism or for anything like that. I meant walking away from whatever you think is bad for you. And, most people won't do this. Most people can't do this and are afraid to do this and will just make excuses. And shout out to Charles F. Gray for his Jealous JoJo's videos, because he's asked me a couple of times to tell more stories about people I know. And, like Cocaine Cletus, even though that's not mine, that's Darren's, that's Darren's burden. But, things like that. I had the old bag that used to spy on me at my old place. And then I had the fire faggot inspector. And then I had my Gaylord landlord. And that's a fine place to start. A lot of people think that they're held down because of their lease or, their mortgage. The mortgage, it's actually probably true. But if you rent, there are a lot of things that you can do to end a lease prematurely. It's really not that hard, actually. In Quebec, there's an overlooked clause. It's very overlooked because every time I've used this clause, the landlord has never heard of it. But anyway, that's not my problem. But basically, in Quebec, if you want to leave your apartment, you just have to write a letter to your landlord and give it to him 10 days after you left, explaining why you left and explaining the certain conditions are unfavorable. And he has the option to perform the repairs and then inform you within 10 days of performing the repairs, and then you get to move back in. Or he can choose not to perform the repairs, and that pretty much terminates your contract. And that's pretty much it. And right above that clause, there's the standard way to go through it, which is to file an injunction with the rental board and you have to take all these pictures and do all this shit, and they're supposed to send someone to your house, and he'll never come. He's a child of the government after all. So their job is to be incompetent. And incompetence just justifies the need for more government employees. So it's perfect. You know, it's a perfect crime. And all at your expense. So yeah, no thanks. So right under the slow way, which is the only part that most people bother to read, they show you the fast way. It's right underneath. I'm not going to put the link up. Anyone that lives in Quebec, you can fucking find out for yourself. Otherwise, fuck you. But I've had arguments with people in the past about this because, yeah, we left our lease early 2 weeks ago, but it's not the first time I've done that. I think I've done it. I don't know. I've done it a lot. I've done it like 10 times. And it's really no big deal, especially legally or not legally. Well, legally, they can't do anything. The worst they can do is take you to court and claim that you caused the deplorable conditions that they're responsible for. But a couple of pictures when you move in, and especially a video or two, if you can prove the date, you know, depicting the state of the apartment when you get there, and then during and throughout, like that'll always help. Because landlords, they have a low cunning, but the slumlords are not as smart as they think they are. So it's quite easy to walk away. And I mentioned yesterday that when we moved into our place, the conditions were terrible, and they were. And when we left it better than we found it, but it was still way too clean if we were just going to take off as it is. So we had to kind of dirty it up a little bit to make sure it was, you know, pretty close. Even though we left it better than we found it, we still had to dirty it up to get it close to that level, because fair is fair, right? So we spent almost a year, you know, on and off fucking cleaning that fucking place, all our free time, and trying to fix things that were wrong with it, and all at our own expense. And, you know, when we left as a gift to the landlord, we left him a fraction of the work that we got to do. Like, we had a big garbage pail in the kitchen. It was a welding barrel that held welding wire. Because when I was a welder, every welder worked at a station, and we all had barrels full of wire for our machines because it was extremely high production. So each barrel held 550 kilograms of spool wire. So it's pretty big. It's like a 200-liter barrel, like, or 50 gallons, I guess. You know, something along those lines. It's a pretty big barrel. So we put a big garbage bag in there, and we use that as our garbage can in the kitchen. And when we left, we decided to empty the contents of the fridge into the garbage bag, one by one, you know, and we had like salad dressing in there that we never used for 6 years and things like that. So, you know, we took the cap off, poured it into the fucking garbage, added some Pepsi, 24 eggs. I broke every single fucking egg one by one into the garbage. And then I took the garbage bag out of the garbage can. We took the garbage can with us, and I shoved the garbage bag under the sink, and it was already leaving a nice trail. And it's been 2 weeks now. The guy still doesn't know that we left. And we threw knives and forks in there too, just to fucking pierce the bag. So the first thing, the place is going to smell like shit. And when he picks up the garbage bag and tries to move it, he's going to get fucking garbage juice all over him fucking self. Serves him right, man. And also, if you subscribe, you're aware of my constant struggle dragging branches. So we left a fucking present for him too. We filled the entire backyard with branches, and the jacuzzi that he didn't fix, we filled that with branches too. And not just branches, we put wood on top, and then more branches, and then more wood, and then more branches. And we put them all facing different directions, so they're going to be really, really, really hard to take out. But that's not my fucking problem anymore. And I canceled the remainders of the checks to him. And I even emptied my bank account just in case there's a mistake. It's even overdrawn right now, just in case, because I canceled checks before on a lease, and the bank fucked up And 2 months later, the landlord was able to withdraw $750 from my account. And I got fucking, yeah, I got fucking scammed. And yeah, I went to the bank to complain. And anyway, they didn't give me my money back. It sucks. So yeah, lesson learned. I'm probably just going to fucking close that account, like with the debt and everything. I don't give a fuck. Because the bottom line is this, like legally or illegally, as long as you can't go to jail, which you cannot for something like this, then you just walk away from the consequences and they don't fucking matter. Especially if you don't ever plan on borrowing again. That's where they get you with credit and with renting and with everything. Like, you know, they make you jump through all these hoops because they tell you, oh, if you ever want to rent again, well, I don't want to rent again. I don't even want to be renting now. Renting sucks. It's a cash loss, fuck. And you never get it back. It sucks, man. It's fucking terrible. And especially renting from a shitbag. And you're giving money to this person, and this person should be giving money to you. Like, seriously, think about it. Have you ever had that? Have you ever had a boss who was an idiot and you told yourself that you should be running this company? You know, like I have. It's nothing to brag about. You know, I've worked at some pretty shitty places. I've worked at some decent places too, but I haven't had very many good bosses. So I became my own boss, and it's just better this way. And hence the walking away thing. Like, we moved approximately an hour away from where we used to be, and to a town that doesn't have much. There are 3,000 people here. It's not many, but we have a big yard. We have enough place to basically run the tail end of our business. So when we cut down trees and have branches and shit to get rid of, we can get rid of them easily on our property without any bother from the neighbors or local authorities or city inspectors or CSST, which is safety inspectors, for those of you guys that aren't in Canada. And it's just worth it to travel a little bit further, but to be able to live unbothered. And it's not to say that we didn't have anything tying us back. It's just we didn't give a shit. And it was more important for us to leave than it was for us to keep our fridge or our stove. You know, that shit doesn't fucking matter. We can get a new fridge and stove. You can cook on the fire. Like, it's really, really, really not a big deal. So it's really easy to just fucking walk away. It's like, if you know anything about Daniel Locke, you know, and he says it himself, you know, he just basically repeats, you know, things that he did not invent, you know, sayings and tips and tricks from other successful people, but he combines it all in a sort of abridged version. But his concept of the fuck you money, which means that you have enough money to basically do whatever you want, and you can say fuck you to anyone without worrying about the consequences. And, you know, this is the goal for a lot of people, but their amount of money that they think they need in their head to be able to say fuck you to people, it's some astronomical amount that they're never going to attain. And like, that's wrong, you know, because you're always going to be thinking this way, that, you know, someone somewhere could get offended, you know, and that's why I need to get a bit more money, because, you know, if I can control my reputation fucking everywhere, then, you know, it's just fucking wrong. You have to decide what you want, realistically calculate how much money it would take for you to have more money than you would know what to do with, and then you're golden. And you keep that mentality. It's like, if anyone's ever been poor or struggling or hustling, and you develop this kind of ghetto mentality, and you pinch every penny, and you like recycle, and you become like really frugal, and it ends up working out for the better. And then you find a source of employment or income, and you keep that mentality for a while. And that's, like, you know, as long as you can, ideally, because when you get complacent, you lose your good habits, you know, and you start spending more. So the trick is to stay frugal, even when you start to see some success, and you keep the frugal mentality. You know, you can still You can still buy the necessities. You can even go above and beyond, obviously. But again, just don't get sloppy. Don't get complacent. And everything is going to be okay. And when you figure out how much you need, and then you start to make that amount or a little bit more than that amount, then you can basically do whatever you want. And the final solution, if you will, I think really it's to buy your own land or property or whatever, but not to get 20 years in debt doing it. I'm talking under $10,000 investment. You know, land is $500 to $1,000 an acre if you buy wooded land properly. If you spend that, I was watching videos of a guy on YouTube that has, I think, he has about 10 or 15 acres of land, like off grid, but they're all scattered all over the place. And he's bartered for them and everything. And he never pays more than $400 an acre. But that's not my reasoning. Like from what I've looked, from where I've looked and from what I've found, that's pretty much the going rate. And I think that's really smart because once you have that and once you have your shelter to whatever degree you want to build it, however extravagant you want to make it, once that's taken care of, you don't have any expenses other than the gratuities that you want. And man, like an extra $2,000 a month saved, or $4,000, because we spend more than our rent costs. What we spend in a month is usually some sort of function of how much we pay in rent. But let's say you're paying $500 a month in rent and you live in the city or something like that. You're probably going to spend around 4 times that amount on other shit to survive as well. Including food and transportation, and not to mention time. Like time is a fucking big one that people don't count. If you have to commute 2 hours to work every day or 4, a lot of people in Montreal take public transport because they work downtown and they live in the suburbs. And with public transport, it can take up to an hour and a half, to get 10 kilometers from the suburbs to the city. And if you drive, it can still take a long time, but, it's more like 20 minutes and there's nowhere to park and everyone is fucking shoved and funneled to the same places, and they're doing construction on the roads all the time, but they're not building more roads. It's like they're making fewer roads and they're diverting everyone into the same bottleneck. They want you to go through traffic and they want you to not be able to park and they want you to be late and they want everyone to be stuck. And it's just a giant fucking money pit. Like I said before, incompetence in the government justifies the need, as far as they're concerned, for even more government. Like that cannot work. And I've said it before, but I'll say it again. I'm a proud anarcho-capitalist, just for closed borders, mind you. And, I think that and I would like to see, I know it's probably never going to happen, but I would like to see very little government intervention on anything. Yeah. If here, yeah, $10 an hour US parking in downtown Amsterdam. That's actually not, it's expensive, but it's not so bad. What sucks in Montreal, they probably have it in Amsterdam too, but there's a limit to how long you're allowed to park for. I think in Montreal, it's there's a 2-hour maximum limit, and it costs about $16, to park there for 2 hours, and then you have to feed the meter again. So if you're going to eat a meal or something, or like somewhere like kind of far because you couldn't find closer parking, and you have to walk a little bit to your destination, which happens often, then you're pretty much fucked. But it's okay. That's what they want. You're supposed to get a ticket. Yeah, I agree. I agree. Government is like a black hole. They're doing a fantastic job keeping you ignorant and poor and dumb and dependent and working for yourself. You hear a lot of this shit. People fucking shit on you all the time. They can't they can't they can't compliment you. They have to try to build themselves up while tearing you down at the same time. And luck is a big one that you hear. You hear, oh, you're lucky. You're so lucky you can do that. It's like, no, luck has nothing to do with it. If anything, I've had terrible fucking luck. Like, yeah, maybe that's helped actually, but you know, it's funny. But no, luck has nothing to do with it. But people always tell you that. They say, oh, you're so lucky you can do that. I could never do that. I need the security of like a pension and all this shit. Like, people that say that are stupid, fuck. Like, your boss can pull the rug under you whenever he fucking wants for no fucking reason. Like, yeah, 68, it's 65 here. 68 is fucking late to be able to retire. Hey man, how's it going? Vanadium pentaoxide is here. Yeah. And the small town that I moved to, they raised the minimum wage by 50%, 50. So it used to be $10 an hour and now it's 14. Or it's yeah, so 40%. And they didn't raise anybody else's wages. And as a result, practically, like, fuck, man. And anyone with a brain like could have figured this out. But if you raise wages by like 40 or 50%, then the price of goods and services has to fucking go up 40 or 50% also, fuck. Yeah, happy International Men's Day. So it's fucking super expensive to buy everything here. But we don't buy anything here. Where we do our jobs in our old neighborhood, that's where we buy our groceries and shit. Get two birds stoned at once. So what time is it where you guys are? It's 5:36 a.m. here. Oh, it's ridiculous. You can't, everything is portion controlled, Yorn. Everything. And if you're really hungry and you go to the grocery store, like, you can't get more than, let's say, 300 grams of food for under $10. Okay, cool. How'd your day yesterday of your hobby go? Then I'm going to have to see to believe. And today I'm stacking firewood. Ah, good. Glad to hear it. I'm stacking firewood and clearing a few trees in the woods behind my place. And, well, I kind of started, we kind of started to build a test cabin. Like I said earlier, I videoed my walk with my dog this morning in the pitch black. And I take you guys through the woods. It's dark. It's pretty cool. And yeah, we started making a little foundation. And yeah, it's really exciting. We don't know if this is going to be a permanent location for us, but like, for the time being, we have a very good deal here. So we have a decent place that we rent, but we have 23 acres in the backyard. And there's also a barn with a skate park in it. So, I mean, I'll show you guys that in another video. So it's pretty fucking cool. And we can do whatever we want pretty much, you know, within certain parameters, but we have much, much, much more freedom than we had anywhere else. So while we're still searching for our perfect location, like, this place will do fine in the time being. And we're building our first kind of test cabin right now. And we just got the green light yesterday that we can continue with it. Heh, thanks, brother. Yeah, please hit that thumbs up. And I don't know if you caught the beginning, but yeah, vanadium pentoxide, the very beginning of the stream, I mentioned that I'm going to be doing these hopefully every day this week, because I get up pretty early and it's fucking dark in the mornings here. And I have a couple of hours, not to kill, but I have a couple of hours to make use of before I start my day outdoors. So I figure I can do a podcast or a live stream every day this morning and see how it turns out, see how people respond to it, if they like it, even if they can't interact in the stream. Maybe people are getting ready for work, and they just want to hear some live content. I don't know. I'm trying it out, so we'll see how it goes. And if you guys want to come on one of these days too, we can do something like that. I don't plan on being on long today. I just wanted to talk about a few little things, keep it limited to, underneath an hour. But I think it'd be cool to start like a morning radio show, if you will, and have guests and all that stuff. Maybe even have something during prime time. But for now, I'm going to seize the morning window because that's my window. And that's my window, and I'm sticking to it. So, Jorn, do you make your own schedule? Are you working right now? I really like making my own schedule. Oh, thank you, man. I appreciate you being here. No, eh? No job since 2 years. How do you get by? I've been struggling for a long time. Like, man, I know how it is. It's fucking rough, especially if you're good at stuff. Wow. Wow, that's awesome. So you don't really need a job then. So you must catch fish and stuff. Oh, happy birthday in advance. But I'm sure, what date? When were you born? It's Jorn for sure's birthday next week, everybody. So be sure to wish him happy birthday in the comments. Okay, so you're living the dream. Canceled my marriage 3 years ago, really living the dream. Congratulations. Okay. So it's not like you're looking for work and going through dumpsters and stealing bikes and stuff like that. Okay. Can you still hear me? Hmm. Ah, cool. Scorpio, right? Cool. Me too. I turned 36 on November 3rd. And it's crazy because my roommate, Mark, he's pretty much my brother, even though we're not biological brothers, but like we refer to each other as brothers and we tell people we're brothers. And his birthday is the next day after mine. It's funny shit. Yeah, that's awesome, man. I would love to hear more about how you're able to have been sailing offshore for 17 years. I know not everybody wants to make videos, but I would strongly push you to make videos about that. Even if you don't talk, even if you just show the view. But I would love to know like how to do something like that. That's why at first, when I first started making videos, I'd cover like basic MGTOW topics. But a big turning point was a year ago. I made a video about how I got fired from a job, and that got me a whole bunch of attention for some reason. I guess people can relate to that. And Yeah, I was pretty sure the earth wasn't flat also. Yeah, and ever since I got fired, it's like the content changed. It became more about what I was doing to try to escape poverty and a shitty situation that a lot of other people found themselves in. And it got me a kind of new audience. And it became it became more about clawing your way free. So yeah, the subscriber base changed, but it's cool. I like the new direction of the channel. And once again, 1 year ago, the only thing I had was dreams and ideas of how to escape poverty. And I worked all fucking winter for different people doing different things. And every job I got just put me further and further into debt. And I would start a job and the conditions weren't perfect, but down the road, if I did things properly and organized myself, I could do it and I could save money efficiently. So I would invest a little bit and the job wouldn't last long enough for my investment to have paid off. And when I cleaned grease traps 1 year ago, I invested in protective equipment so I wouldn't fucking die, get the brain sucking amoeba, because that's real. It's not just on X Files, and it doesn't really live in North America, but it does sometimes, and it lives in fucking stagnant water. And that was my entire job. It was fucking sucking up moldy, stagnant water with a fucking vacuum truck for minimum wage. So I invested a good $1,000 or so when all was said and done in protective gear, like an oil resistant suit and like, a couple of pairs of really thick working industrial rubber gloves and, respirator and all that shit. And, colder clothing for the colder weather and different work boots also because the fucking grease ruins your fucking work boots. And yeah, it was a big fucking deal, man. And yeah, that job lasted like 2 months, and the guy ended up owing me for $2,000 worth of work. So shit like that happens. Fuck, and it doesn't have to happen, but it can happen. And it was just getting further and further and further into the hole. And I got a job working in the tree industry for a guy who was a real fucking son of a bitch. And it took 1 month of working for him to get 5 days worth of work. And those were all terrible days. And all I did was drag branches every day. I asked as many questions as I could, and he didn't let me do anything. He didn't answer any questions. And then one day, talking to my good friend, Monk Music, Don't Engage. And I told him I didn't know what I was going to do. And he basically sent me money on the condition that I quit my job that day. And I did, and start my own business. And that very Friday, I got my first job. And Mark and I made $600 for that first day. Thanks, man. I'm going to make some more like that. They were fun to make, actually. But yeah, we made $650 for that first day, split between us. And it took us about 6 hours. And look, it's not a fucking crazy amount, but we just decided to do our own thing. And we cut the fucking chains that were binding us, if you will. And that was just the first day. And it was a great day. And there was even a quote unquote competing company working across the street. And after we had done around an hour and a half's worth of work, the boss came over and introduced himself and asked us for business cards and told us that we were doing a great job and that he'd be happy to shoot business our way because he sees the way we work and he was overbooked as it was. And that was my first day. My first day working for the other guy, the shitbag that I lasted 5 days working for him. He died now, by the way. Fuck you. I'm glad he's dead. Fuck this guy. But yeah, this guy, my first day working for him, yeah, self-employment is the way to go. And the wages and cost of living are so out of balance. It's unbelievable. And this, like what I'm doing now, I don't work every day. I do not like to work every day. Even if I have several jobs booked, I need a day in between because it's just too physically rough. And I may not feel it that day, but the next day it's just I'm dead, and I need to maintain my equipment and everything like that. So I really like doing it this way. And even, you have good times and you have slightly leaner times. A couple of weeks when I started off, I made maybe $150 for the entire week, but the next week, I made almost $2,000. And a lot of people, it scares them to do this or this notion, but I love this notion. And this is all from an ad on one website, pretty much, and word of mouth. And I haven't even advertised in our new town yet. We're still kind of getting settled in, but that's always an option. And it's so great. This, a lot of people, they're afraid to kind of raise their tie-in point or monkey branch, if you will. It's like climbing a tree. I fucking shit you not. Okay. And a lot of people, they stay tied to the fucking trunk at the bottom of the tree. And you don't need to be tied into the bottom. You can just walk around on the ground if that's where you want to stay. But if you want to go up, you have to keep reaching for a higher and higher point. And it doesn't mean that you have to let go and jump and take a risk. Like, there are intelligent ways to do this. Like, while you're standing on the bottom, you throw a rope up top to get to that higher limb. And then when you get to that higher limb, instead of undoing the rope and like trying to do some crazy shit, you throw a second rope onto an even higher limb. And then you detach the first one because that's keeping you down, right? So yeah, he's dead. Fuck him. You know what else? Fuck this other guy that I used to work with 4 years ago that I fucking had huge problems with. One day he just fucking had a heart attack at work and he fucking died. Yeah, and like everyone at work was crying, and I was so fucking happy. That was like one of the best days of my life. And my life was going so well then. Like, I only had one problem, and I was dealing with this fucking baby at work crying every day. He was such a little bitch. He was 55 years old, and he would avoid work like the plague. And every time, every day, like an hour into the day, he'd say, "You probably noticed why I'm pissed off today. I'm not going to tell you why now, but I'll tell you why later." And I was like, dude, shut the fuck up. I don't give a fuck, man. Like, yeah, and one day he died. Fuck, yeah, good. Fuck, like, yeah, leave me alone. Like, I just wanted him to leave. I tried to fucking, correct the behavior. I was technically responsible for him. Fuck my life. But whatever, fuck that place. That's cool. You're working on starting a private business. What kind of business do you want to start? I think that's a way to go. And I talked a year ago in a video. It's fucking cool, man, about how I wanted to start a business cutting down trees, but how I did not know how to climb. And it's and everyone was telling me that I couldn't do it because I didn't know how to do everything. And I said, big fucking deal, man. I'm just going to do the things that I know how to do. And I'm going to start small. And everyone said, you can't, you can't, you can't. And man, I look at the videos that I'm putting out now, and I never thought a year ago that I would ever fucking put out videos like this. I know I'm patting myself on the back right now, but man, if I can do it, you guys can do it. Yeah, man. All my enemies are dead. Soldier of Keck. Even, oh man, dude, when I told that to my dad, like fucking, a few years ago when the guy died, and that's not even it, okay? That's not even the whole story. Okay, there's this fucking fat kid that worked there. And like, I had my own little section at this fucking warehouse, and they're all these sections called grids. And every grid was like different, and it was a shit job, man. People are driving around in a circle all day, placing boxes on pallets the wrong way, so they can like lie to the computer and say that like they have high numbers, even though numbers don't count for shit. Like, they just want to, oh man. Yeah, I could get into it. It was a fucking shit place, man. And I ended up having my own little section because I was the only person stupid enough to fucking care. And this is like my experiment in socialism, where I found out it really didn't fucking work. I didn't even know anything about politics back then, but I saw it didn't fucking work, man. I tried to even everything out. It doesn't fucking work, man. And you're the one or two people that are down to work always end up fucking paying for the other people. And what happens? when you catch wind that this is going on, well, if you're smart, you just fucking leave, and you start your own shit and you realize that you could make way more money and have a lot less heartache if you cut out like the 20 fucking middlemen. So this fucking place, I had my own little grid, and everyone used to call me the fucking Nazi there. Again, not because of my political beliefs, just because I would fucking yell at people all the time. But I ran a tight ship. But a lot of the time, like the bosses would send me fucking retards, and they knew it was like the worst place to send them because they'd get sent back like as quickly as they fucking showed up. And then I'd go give the bosses shit. I'd say, "What is this? A fucking joke? You send me this guy? You know what? You just cost the whole company. Like you're so fucking stupid." Fuck. Anyway, so there's this one fucking fat kid, and everybody hated this guy because he didn't fucking clean up after himself. He didn't wrap his pallets. He had a fucking nasty attitude, and he would disappear when it was time to do the heavy lifting and shit. And like, I had this fucking, but he was never my problem because they never sent him to me. So back to the guy that died, this guy was my problem. So I had this fucking like speech prepared one day for this guy, about everybody pulling their own weight. And I had about 10 people working in my section that day. And it's good because I wanted them all to hear like the way I was going to dress down this guy, not the fat kid, the guy that died. So I'm about to fucking like give it to him. And the fucking fat kid shows up and I just look at him and I'm like, "What the fuck are you doing here?" And he's like, "Oh, they put me in your section." So I fucking freaked out, man. And I blew up at the fucking fat kid basically for no reason other than I didn't fucking like him. But I really fucking let him have it. He stood up for himself too. Good on him. But whatever. It was no match for the fucking Nazi. So yeah, I freaked out. I told him to get the fuck out of my section because he worked like shit and I didn't even know what the fuck he was doing at the company. Yeah, and I said, even if they send you here, you should know better than to show your fucking face. Yeah, get the fuck out of here. And then, so the guy that died is like laughing and shit, and for like an hour or two, nobody liked working with this fucking fat kid. So, the other employees are like, "Good job, Greg," or like, whatever. But after a fucking hour, this other asshole's back up to all his old tricks, "Oh, I don't feel good," like pretending to be sick and shit, taking all the light stuff. And I'm like, "Yo, dude, we're still doing the heavy stuff." He's like, "Oh, I didn't see it." It's like, "Yo, shut the fuck up." So the fat kid eventually got fucking fired. And then the other guy, Dave, he fucking died. So one day I was telling my dad that the only things bothering me in my life right now were this fucking annoying fat kid at work and this other guy at work that was acting like a huge fucking baby every day. And the fat kid got fired and the other guy died. So my dad just fucking looks at me and he says, "Greg, well, someone somewhere likes you." And, he's not religious. He's not even a conservative, but he's quite conservative, but he votes liberal and shit. Yeah, like it's a long story. But yeah, even he even he could see the fucking humor and appreciate the fucking situation. Yeah, so all my enemies get smited. I don't know if God does it. I don't think God would do something like that, but Keck probably would. So you want to open a coffee shop? Vanadium pentoxide says. That's cool. That's a good idea, I think. A guy I used to work with in restaurants years ago, he quit to open his own coffee shop. And that was like 15 years ago, and it's still running today. Good for him. It's really cool to, well, yeah, it's really cool also to, again, to make your own schedule or to do a job. Even I know if you open a shop, you're going to have certain hours that you want to adhere to. And I was always like that. I was always super regimented about, I like the early morning jobs and stuff. Part of the reason was because no one wants to work the graveyard shift. So fewer people are around. When I would work for big companies that had a lot of employees, I would take the graveyard shift, but I would be disappointed because there's like fucking 100 people working there. And it's not the same. But I usually like it because it's a bit quieter and you're there to do your own thing. But yeah, I like being in charge of that. And now what I do, thankfully, it doesn't have a set schedule. It's weather dependent. and it's very busy, even if you're just starting out in the industry. So you get to really, really, really live by your own terms. And you can stay up as late as you want. You can get up as early as you want. You can not sleep, or you can sleep for 2 days if that's your thing. That's not really my thing. I don't sleep more than, let's say, six hours, or maximum 7 hours if I'm like really tired. But most of the time, like 5 hours of sleep is fine for me. And the beauty of it is, again, you work for yourself. You set your own schedule. You can do a job that takes 2 hours and make $500 from that job if you want. Or if you own a coffee shop, you can sell $1,000 worth of inventory in a very, very, very short time if you get a burst of business. And this could happen on any day. And if you want, technically, like, yeah, you can go home after and let the other guy, that you pay minimum wage run the cash if you feel like it. But you can do whatever you want. And I love that. I love that freedom. And if you didn't sleep enough at night, you can take a nap in the middle of the day. It's not like, oh, you're stuck working, somewhere you don't like, or you have to haul ass for 12 hours straight every day, like no matter what. Oh boy, what a prison. I don't mind hard work, but again, I want it to be on my own terms, or if I'm working for someone else, I like it to be, very efficient. They have to be better than me at least. I mean, come on, like it's your company, you're the boss. I don't know anything. I'm just coming in here. Like I shouldn't think that I can do it better than you after half a day of work. No way. Okay, Jorn Verschoor says, I heard of Russian woman married and 30 years old who had 30 abortions, and her husband was clueless and still is today about his wife's new hobby. He could not sexually satisfy her. Dude, I don't think fucking anyone could sexually satisfy that woman. Yesterday, I mentioned briefly about how some fucking bitch was bragging to me that she had been with over 100 guys. And, if she says over 100, it's like over fucking 300. It's fucking crazy. Do you guys like Jesse Lee Peterson? I like Jesse Lee Peterson. I like his show. Wow, that's crazy. Your your wife was almost Russian, or she was almost your wife. Yeah, he's cool. He's a he's a black conservative. He really, really, really trusts in Trump, but it's cool. Okay, almost your wife. I got that. So you're on your boat right now, right? Like you live in it, and you're just basically doing like whatever you want all the time. That's crazy. Cancel the marriage 2 months in advance was close. And then I heard about MGTOW. Okay. Okay, so you actually have a home on land. You don't live on the sailboat. Okay. So you're not like Julian Assange. Yeah, that's my goal too. I would love to have very, very few monthly expenses. I don't even mind not having the internet. Having access to it is nice. Let's say once a week or something like that, just to upload a video. But I don't like sitting in front of the screen for 8 hours a day unless I'm hurt or something like that. And even then, I think I have too short of an attention span. I can watch something, The limit of my attention span to a screen is around the length of one movie, probably even less. Even if I go see movies in the theaters, like, around halfway through, I'd rather be doing something else. And I'm actually honestly happy that it snowed last night. It was not supposed to, but it's a nice blanket, and it's going to be fun today working outside. We have a giant pile of branches that we're going to burn, and it's going to keep us warm while we work. And we're going to cut down a couple of trees because there are people that hunt on the property in back of our house, and they're letting us use a section of the bush to build, and we're leaving the rest of the bush for them to hunt. And we're going to help them out if they ever have any problem trees that are in the way of their trails, or if they need any tree stands built or things like that. And they're going to toss us the occasional piece of venison or whatever they catch. So it's going to be a pretty cool arrangement. So we have our own little area. They're aware that I have a dog, and they know what he looks like. They're not going to mistake him for another wild animal and shoot him. So we're going to be safe. But just in case, I'm probably well, we're not going to go back there when they're hunting anyway. How's my friend Darren doing? He's not going to commit suicide or something, I hope, is he? Yeah, I hope not. I honestly, I couldn't tell you. I don't know how Darren's doing. I hope he's doing well. Um, I know that he's stuck with fucking, well, not stuck, but he moved into well, he moved his work equipment into a second apartment with a fucking druggie. And it seems to be like everything the druggie's telling him is not true. And Darren's, he's basically doing favors for the guy for the promise of not having to pay rent in the future. So that's cool, man, if it works out for Darren. I think that he has a plan of taking over the apartment from the guy, without the guy knowing. If that works out, cool. That would be good for him. But Darren goes up and down, as anyone knows who watches his videos. So also, if you watch my videos, which you do, you know that I've tried to work with Darren, many, many, many times, either at my job or at his job, and we could both help each other out during the quiet times. And even to the point of he was considering at the time he said yes 100%, but even at the time when he wanted to move in above me and Mark in our old place, like, and we hoped all of that would happen, but I never worked with him, and he moved somewhere else, and that's cool, man. He's doing his own thing, and he's hard to reach. He doesn't answer his phone either, so I wish him the best, and I see him every now and then. He leaves a comment on my videos once in a while. I watch his. I can't help but fucking, want to watch the guy's videos. I like his content, and he's a cool guy. So I hope that he's doing okay. I hope he's not. I hope he's not drinking so much, because he tends to go from one extreme to another, of not drinking for a week and then getting fucking shit faced for 3 days in a row. And I think that if you just drank a little bit less, keep it under control. But I mean, that's if you're gonna listen to me. Hey, Wicked, the man himself. Awesome. How's it going, man? MGTOW is the only way to live. I'm doing good. My roommate is such a loser. Fuck. Yo, awesome to hear from you, man. So now that Darren's in the spotlight, he's going to disappear. How's it going, Darren? I like the video about cocaine Cletus and Darren on Zia Sun's channel. And it's just a picture of fucking of cocaine Cletus reaching out and like taking change from Darren. It's fucking amazing. I took a screenshot of that. I'm gonna like do something with it. Well, he already did something. He wrote Cletus Beedman like 2018 or something like that. Yeah, it's fucking funny. So I'm actually you learned that from Darren, eh? Yeah, Jordan says that no drinking for a week and then to drink 6 bottles of wine or something in 2 days. I learned from Darren, I think. Oh man, I hate wine. Wine is gross. Ah, that brings back bad memories. During my during the dark days of my youth, I used to chug bottles of like dirty red wine. That was so gross. Once at a work party, I drank too much wine and I puked it up all over my room after, and all my drawers were open. So I puked up like Creole potatoes into all of my clothes and everything and all over the floor. It seems I spun around while I was throwing up, and I had to work the next day. And when I got up to wake up in the morning, like the floor was wet. Yeah, it was gross. That's the end of that story. But yeah, I'm not a big drinker. Occasionally, the last time I actually consumed alcohol was with Darren actually at our old place, and I think he wasn't drinking for a while before then, and like he drank because of no, he didn't drink because of me. It's his own decision, but still, I was a part of that. The only other thing I had to offer was Diet Dr. Pepper. But can you blame me? It tastes just like regular Dr. Pepper. But Darren, the offer still stands. Winter slows down for me, but it's not dead. And Mark and I have jobs still left over from the summer that we're gonna do, and we still get calls for more work. So, if things are dead for you, my man, and you want to get your mind off of or if being unproductive or away from temptation, or I don't know how you want to fucking put it, and you want to make some money one day, then yeah, just answer the fucking call and be happy to fucking take you on board with us. Yeah, it's the easiest way, eh? After 27 years, I finally found the secret. Better not to have any alcohol in my house, and especially not in my fridge. Yeah, I used to do coke when I was in my early 20s, and I haven't done it in 11 years. I'll never do it again. It's several lifetimes ago, but I could never control it. If hypothetically I started doing it now, like I would probably go exactly the way I went, like 12, 13 years ago. I would probably do exactly the same shit. I just have more to lose now. So yeah, I can never do it. I wouldn't want to, despite like how good it made me feel like momentarily, but the part of my life is over. But I could never, how I think I don't know, every drug is different, but I think you can consume alcohol in moderation, even if you consume alcohol every day. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. It's not my thing. I don't I just don't find it refreshing. It's very rare. Occasionally, if I work all day or something like that and I'm tired and I want to have like a very cold beer at the end, after supper or something, like while watching TV, and but I won't even finish it most of the time. It's got to be like really cold. And I'd rather drink like a club soda or something, or a fucking peach rock star. I know it's garbage, but it tastes so good. And you can't buy them anywhere anymore. Makes me sad. Yeah, my neighbor was like that, Yorn. He used to drink 24 beers a night, and he wouldn't eat. And he wouldn't eat all day, fuck. And I worked with this guy too. It was hard to work for because he never got up on time and he had maybe an hour and a half of energy in the day before he would crash because he wouldn't eat. I guess because he had enough calories in the alcohol to not be hungry the next day. But, the work suffered. I suffered, fuck, so I quit. But yeah, alcohol, I think that you can consume it in moderation. I don't think, even every day, I don't think there's anything wrong with it. But something like Coke, like I was always amazed at the people that could do it every day and not just like get taken away. I knew one guy, he would do $20 worth of Coke every day, no matter what, never more, never less. Like that, it's fucking crazy. When I was 21, I drank 24 cans of beer and 1 full liter of wine for 5 days a week, 3 months straight. Holy shit. And what did you do on the other 2 days? That's fucking nuts, man. What, they didn't have any other drugs where you were? Especially in like, where was that, in Amsterdam at the time? Ah, oh my God. So you worked as a bartender on the weekend and then during the week. Wow. Oh, college too. Were those 3 months in the summer or 3 months in the middle of school that you were drinking? Ah, okay. So do you still drink now or no? Because I know I've seen you on Darren's channel a couple of times in the comments. I just okay, that's cool. So you have a handle on it. I understand. I wasn't like that with alcohol, but with other things, you know, two turns into 24 very quickly. And then you skip all your meals. I was like that when I did other stuff. You skip everything. You don't want to do anything. You just want to fucking, keep your high going. You don't even care if all your teeth fall out. Or if you man, I would have traded all my stuff for like the next high in a heartbeat. Like very, very, very little foresight. And I didn't care because I would like steal more stuff later to trade. Oh, that's good. Glad to hear it. I don't know if I can unlimit the amount of messages you can type here. I'm still very new on the controls, but I'm not limiting you, by the way. I'm not timing you out or anything like that. You know, people should type as much as they want. But I'm going to sign off actually because the sun is slowly coming up and I'm about to start my day. So to the guys that passed by today, Yorn, for sure, vanadium pentoxide, Darren, and Alvaro de Bazan. Yes, it might have been Karma Alvaro, but thanks for passing by, guys. And The other guys that watch this video, let me know if it's something that you'd like to keep going. Well, it's going to keep going this week, regardless. Yeah, hang in there, Darren. Those will be my closing words. Hang in there, Darren. And Beedman Cletus 2020. All right, guys. Hope you all have a great day.